Hey, how's it going, everybody? Rollshambo here, connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And in case you're wondering, no, this is not a recording. This is a live stream. It's a live stream, and today we're going to be going over some of our giveaway stuff. We're going to look at some knives. We're going to do a whole lot. You know, it just kind of, we're going to go with the flow because why not? You got me live and uncensored. You know, just like Bill O'Reilly says, fuck it, we're doing it live. It's a good thing I'm not monetized yet because they probably wouldn't like curse words. But you know what? We don't care. We're not monetized. So we could say what we want. We could say the truth. Now, in case you're wondering what I'm carrying, today I'm carrying this guy. This is the Beyond EDC Riverwolf, designed by John Demko, manufactured by some company in China, and then stamped with the, you know, Beyond River or Beyond EDC logo, I guess. So I always find the start of these live streams to be a little awkward because I'm waiting for people to get in the chat. And hey, look at that. Oreo Dave in the chat. How's it going, Dave? He says 1K. Oh, yeah. Congrats again. I'm cheesing for you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. You know, it's absolutely nuts to me because 6 months ago, I was like, screw it. I'm going for it. But in the back of my mind, I said, you know, plenty of people try to create knife channels and they fail. And they fail because either they don't have enough content to keep people interested, or they're not good enough at making it, or they just don't have the desire to make as much knife content as they thought that they would. I tell you, I've put a lot of work and a lot of hours into this channel, and so I created a goal for myself. I said 12 months. In 12 months, if I haven't hit at least 1,000 subscribers, I'll call it. I'll stop sinking money into it, and I'll just go back to being a knife enthusiast that, you know, joins live chats and comments on videos and has a lot of opinions. Hey, Stacy Bolster Blades in the chat. How's it going, Stacy? We got Paul Mills in the house. Marcos, what's good, everybody? Thank you for joining me. I was waiting for people to hop in before I start giving the updates. It is official. We have reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. And now I'm excited to announce that the giveaway will be happening in a live stream this time next week. I wanted to give it a little bit more time. I reached out to a bunch of companies to see if anybody wanted to join in on the fun and, you know, donate to the live stream for the giveaway. Big surprise, I got crickets. It's okay. It's okay. I don't expect people to donate to stuff like that, but it's always fun to try, and it's always fun to see if anyone's going to show out and do that. I've got 3 knives that I am going to be giving away in next week's giveaway live stream. So it's going to be the biggest giveaway I've done so far. It's only the 3rd one I've done so far, but it's exciting. And then I'm planning on doing a giveaway for every 1,000 subscribers after that, just to have a nice cadence to it. And here's the rules. Because this live stream is going to be recorded and it's going to be put on the channel for those who aren't able to join us live, which is okay. I get it. I have a life too. There's so many live streams that I don't get to join because I'm doing other stuff. So this is for everyone that's watching after the fact. Here's the rules. Got to be able to give me a address somewhere here in the United States. You got to be at least 18 years or older. I will not be held accountable if you are not. And you have to comment not on this video, but on the prior video. A lot of the people in the live stream right now have already done that. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. It will be on the description that I saved for this video. But it's the first road to 1,000 subscribers live stream that I did 2 weeks ago. That's crazy. It feels like it's been forever, but it's only been 2 weeks. And I will also link to that video during next week's live stream for those who aren't able to see this, or maybe didn't see that, but log in for the giveaway live. So I'll make sure to link it there as well. There will be 3 winners. You can win multiple times. We'll be using the comment picker, the YouTube comment picker, just like a lot of other channels do. And then if your name gets pulled for a certain knife, I will give you 7 days, a full week, to reach out to me via email. And I'll have you prove your identity so I don't end up sending a knife to the wrong person, because there are definitely people out there, unfortunately, that take advantage of stuff like that. And I want to make sure it gets to the right person. If a knife goes unclaimed, or if someone reaches out to me and says, hey, I won, but I'd like to pass it on to the next guy, then we'll do another drawing in the live that follows the very next week. So 7 days, I feel like that's fair. If we don't have the winners reach out to me by the very next live stream, we'll use that as an opportunity to draw more, because why not? But yeah, if anyone's interested in my thoughts on this guy, the Beyond EDC Riverwolf that doesn't like to focus, this is a big honking knife. The scales remind me a lot of the Chris Reeves knives style, and it reminds me a lot of the Strider style. They're extremely smooth. They're glassy smooth. It's almost like this Strider AR 0.75, which I really have been slacking on getting videos up on this. I know I did the how to do a perfect polish, and I use this as an example, but I haven't even done an overview of this guy yet, and I've already reprofiled the edge, because spoiler alert, the factory Strider edge, it might as well be a pry bar. It isn't anymore though. It cuts very well now. All right, let's check out the chat. Stace says, doing well, congrats, thank you. Oreo Dave says, giveaways coming out of your own pocket? How can we contribute? Man, let me tell you something. The giveaways are my way of giving back. I have had a few manufacturers give me stuff for free. And the truth is that when you start to do stuff like this, it's really hard to carry a lot of knives in my collection. Like knives that I used to be able to carry just whenever. All of a sudden now I look at my desk and I say, well, should I carry this knife that I've already carried many times, or do I carry the one that I need to review? Because that's the question. And sometimes I carry multiple, and sometimes I carry both. But I got myself on a timeline, on a schedule. I want to get this content out there for the people that are interested, that, you know, if someone out there could use an extra opinion, maybe they want to see a ranking on, you know, the Beyond EDC Riverwolf, I want to be able to give that to them. That's what my channel's about. So all you have to do to contribute to the giveaway is what you already do. I am fortunate enough. I don't need anything. I just want to make sure that I can continue to make content and give back and say thanks. The cool thing is that while the channel's still on the smaller side, the giveaways are super easy to win, because instead of going up against, you know, Metal Complex's 150,000 subscribers, you know, like my giveaways aren't going to have hundreds or thousands of people. They're only going to have, you know, 40, 50, 60, maybe 100. That's what I'm forecasting. And so that's great, because I want to make sure that the people that support this channel also have a chance to get something. It's just fun. It's fun for me. It keeps people engaged. I'll be honest, there have been actually a decent amount of people from my giveaways that weren't subscribed before, then subscribed, and then continue to watch. So there's this stigma about giveaways that you get a lot of useless subscribers, and I'm not going to argue that you do or you don't, but I will say that I've gained some people that actually enjoy the content. Maybe that's how they found the channel, but they stuck around afterwards, and that's cool. You know, I want to provide entertaining content, so that's what it's all about. Robert Patton in the house says, hello, everybody. How's it going, Robert? Papa Rhino, how's it going? Sharp Guy ATX, even fam listening. Right on. Man, we're starting to get some people in here. All right, so Again, the rules, got to be 18, got to give me an address somewhere here in the US. If you live outside the United States, what I need for you to do is find someone in the United States that you can have this knife sent to if you win, and then they can send it onwards to you. I don't care if it's a forwarding address, but I have to have an address in the United States. I don't want to mess with customs. Customs is nasty. They keep a lot of the good stuff for themselves. Duty's Daggers in the house says, congratulations on the 1K, brother. Hey, by the way, another channel that's up and coming. Make sure you check out Duty's Daggers. I'm subscribed. He's got some really, really entertaining content. So in the chat, Duty, if you want to link your channel, brother, go for it. Duty's Daggers, everybody. Make sure you check him out. Really, really solid content. Let's go ahead and head on over to... So I'd be lying if I said that I didn't spend a good amount of time every day just looking at knives online, and I can't help it. I've been looking at some of these Tucson knives because I've been on a titanium kick lately. And I believe it's this one. Nope, that's not it. Where is it? By the way, I had the opportunity to buy one of these and I didn't do it. And I'm kind of kicking myself for it because now they're hard to find. This design is absolutely insane. It's insanity. It looks like a rattlesnake tail. I'm not sure like how useful it is as far as the actual use case scenarios go, but the collector in me is just kicking myself because I had the opportunity to get one, and now all of a sudden they like, when I had the opportunity to buy it, it was about $125. But with Tucson, they gradually bump up the price based on the demand. And yeah, I missed out. Wish that I hadn't. I'm pretty positive this one's an integral. The Tucson folder is made from one solid piece of titanium. That is definitely an integral. I nerd out about that stuff, but I mean, honestly, there are some Tucson designs that are really sensible, that aren't like super out there. And then there's the designs that people are immediately like, nope, that's a gas station knife, can't buy it. I think they try to hit all corners of the market. That's a good looking one with M398 steel, no less. The TS306. And of course it's sold out. Just checking out the chat. Richard Kasner in the house says, what's up, Kev? Mr. Moose Duty. Oreo Dave says, Rollshambo, if you don't accept contributions, I need to know which of the following you like most. Star Wars, Batman, Avengers, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, which house? Okay, so this is a tough one. You're kind of hitting on my childhood. I'm only 32. So according to the new generation, that's old, but I mean, just because I remember VHS players doesn't mean anything. As far as which one's my favorite, that's tough. That is really tough. I would have to go with Star Wars, and I'll tell you why. I don't remember any Avengers movies that I've ever seen where I had to wait in line for hours and the line was like a half mile long. Star Wars, all the way leading up until when Disney took over. When Disney took over Star Wars, some of them are good, and I like some of the shows. I like The Mandalorian. I like... Why am I blanking on this? Mandalorian's good. Andor is good. The show's really, really solid. I also like the Boba Fett show. That one's pretty solid too. I actually think that the shows are better than the new movies. But I also watched the original Star Wars on VHS, and you can't convince me that the new ones are better than the original ones. No one can. Moose Duty says, I'm Batman. I'm not good at impressions. As far as the others, love Avengers. Lord of the Rings is always epic, and Harry Potter. I'm a bit of a bookworm. Harry Potter was the series that got me into reading books. If I had to pick a house, that's tough. That's tough. I would probably go with Slytherin. I think that they probably have the most fun. Moose Duty says, that about sums it up on Disney-owned Star Wars properties and the rest suck. Yeah. What are you going to do? Papa Rhino says, they're flooding the market with Star Wars, sadly. You know, they are. I'll say this, though. If there was ever a company that could actually come out with all the Star Wars stories, because as a bookworm, I can tell you that the movies touched on like 1% of that universe. 1%. The Star Wars universe is massive, and it's insanity if you were to go in and look at everything that was created for Star Wars. Lucasfilms was never going to be able to cover all that in his lifetime, or in his kid's lifetime, or his kid's lifetime. So if there was ever a corporation that would be able to get it done, just with sheer amount of money and manpower, it would be Disney. And I do like their shows for Star Wars. Not a huge fan of the movies. I think that the movies, they have potential, but they just seem to lack depth. That's my personal opinion. I don't hate on anyone that likes the new stuff. Back in my day, we had to walk uphill both ways in the snow and then wait 3 hours in line to watch Star Wars. Facts. Duty says, Andor was the best Star Wars spinoff by far. I don't know. Mandalorian's probably my favorite Star Wars spinoff. I think that it's just got that. It's got the most Star Wars feel. Andor's probably my second favorite. Moose Duty says, Disney has gone a long way to destroy everything that I loved as a child nerd. Man, sorry. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to find that Tucson that I was looking at earlier. And so we're going to go ahead and just do a dive real quick, because I'd love to get my hands on a Tucson. But I'd love to get my hands on the right one. And it's got to have titanium handle scales. I also wouldn't be opposed to getting one with M390. Tucson is known for doing a lot of 59 HRC M390, but they've also had some 60 Rockwell hardness tested go through. So it's possible to get a really good quality Tucson. I never thought I'd actually say that, but here we are. That's wild. What is this? The Tucson folding knife. You gotta love their the lack of creativity. Tucson folding knife, gray titanium handle, M390 saber tooth. That's wild. But it looks like it could actually be a good user. I mean, $120, M390 titanium. That ain't too shabby. That's what I paid for my. That's what I paid for my titanium QSP Penguin. All right. So, just catching up on the chat. We're still talking Star Wars. Moose Duty says, if Disney would quit with all the PC garbage and do Star Wars roots of the Old Republic stuff, it would be sick. That would be pretty badass. I would love to see that. And you know what? There's a great chance that they will, because they have the manpower. They can do it. I have a feeling they're going to touch on a lot more than Lucasfilms would have done by himself. Duty's Dagger says TS300, man, you would love it. I do know that knife. I don't believe it's in stock, at least at White Mountain Knives. Hey, it is in stock at White Mountain Knives. In 14C28, no less. I do have a bit of an issue with the price tag for 14C28. Now I understand that is, you know, a lot of titanium. What draws me to Tucson specifically is their ability to come out with good prices and good materials. On my Grail or Garbage leaderboard, that would easily M390 and titanium at the Tucson price tag is most likely, unless they screw up something like a heat treat, is most likely going to be around an 8 or a 9 on my leaderboard. And that's kind of what draws me to the brand. 14C28N is a decent steel. It's very well rounded. It's a decent mid-range steel. I wouldn't call it budget like D2 or Oz 10. Everyone that sees my videos on the 80-20.5 knows how I feel about Oz 10. 14C28N is a decent steel, but at $180 price tag, that is hard for me to swallow, even with titanium scales. I love the blade shape. I believe that's an American style tonso. That's what they call it. Deployment hole, beautiful handle scales though. You can see the milling lines in there, which is nice, and it looks like it has a single-sided captive pivot, which I'm also a huge fan of. 2 screws on the lock bar insert though. Decent appearance on the clip. It's hard for me to really say too much about knives that I've never held. I have a feeling that I could possibly get over 14C28N. At $180 price tag, that would be tough. Just my honest opinion. Plain edge, it's not too bad. Just shy of 5 ounces. Nothing too shabby. Oh, he says the plain tie version is $100. Now we're talking. But it is sold out, as it tends to be with all the good ones, though. Yeah, no, that's way better. At $95, those materials are great. At twice the price, not sure. At $95, that is pretty good. I like the contouring on the handle scales too. Whenever I see contouring on titanium, I know that it's got a better chance of having a great hand feel, because your hand does not contour around flat scales like this. Like, yes, we love them. We love our Chris Reeves knives, and we love our Strider knives and our Spydercos that all have the slab style handle scales. But when there's contouring on the handle scales, that makes a huge difference. $96, now we're talking. I got to find the one that I was looking at, because I saw this and I said, you know what, if I show this in a live, there's a chance that somebody will buy it. And I thought that it'd be really, really cool to share it. If I can find it again, it's got to be around here somewhere. How many Tucson knives do they have? It's a better question. It's not this one, although that's pretty cool looking too. We've got the titanium handle clip D2 blade edge, blah, blah, blah. Sold out. Moose Duty says the TS301 and the TS336 is nice as well. I just wish that Tucson would get away from naming everything the TS something or other. It makes it much harder to remember which ones they're talking about specifically. I will find it. It's around here. Ooh, that's a good looking one too. I love harpoon style blades. Harpoon style blades really speak to me. And for no apparent reason. Like, you can take the harpoon kickback off of a blade and it does nothing to its performance. Like, it does nothing for the performance whatsoever. In fact, if you're actually like moving through material, harpoon style blades are not the best, but they look so good. The aesthetic is definitely good on harpoons. Where is it? It's got to be around here. I'm telling you, I was looking at this knife about 20 minutes before I started the stream. That's not it either. The search continues. Okay, so the number one thing, the number thing is a big bag of suck. Yeah, man, whoever's in charge of their creative department needs to be like, listen, we did like 5 million knives with the TS number thing. Let's give these a real name. Harpoon modified Tantos are my blade kryptonite. Oh boy, I'll tell you what, the one that I really should be looking at is the Vosti Thunderbird. And I actually learned about this knife during a live stream. This knife right here is about as close as you can get to, oops, ad block. It's about as close as you can get to a harpoon style button lock. And they call it a harpoon. I wouldn't say that it's a true harpoon style blade because it doesn't really have much of a kickback up here. But that blade, can we all just take a second and appreciate how good that looks? That knife looks, and of course they sold out like nobody's business. But I mean, are we surprised? I actually reached out to them to see if they'd be willing to send me one for a review. They never got back to me. Sometimes that's how it goes. My dream is to one day not get ghosted by manufacturers and retailers. But yeah, I just want to take a minute to appreciate that. The one thing that I was wondering about these is if that button is mushy. A big complaint a lot of people have on the Kizer Cormorant is that the button travel is way too far and it feels like mushy. And that's not something that I'm a big fan of, but the button looks like it could potentially have that issue. But beautiful G10 handle scales on these. I like the fact that they do they have a tiny bit of a backspacer right here. I would have liked to have seen a bit more on that, but they got the blade still right. S35VN on a $130 blade, that's good. G10, I'm perfectly fine at that price point. And then the aesthetic, the overall design just calls to me. The Thunderbird is a good looking knife, and I'm not surprised at all that they are sold out, because that's just a fantastic looking knife. I wasn't too sold on the wire pocket clip. I would have liked to have seen a milled aluminum pocket clip or a milled steel pocket clip. It doesn't always have to be titanium. Wire clips perform really good and they have decent ergonomics, but when you're looking at a knife and everything looks sexy and then you get to the clip and it's like, meh, wore shorts today. Hey, we got Mike Reese in the house. Says, hey, Rollshambo and everybody. How's it going, Mike? Good to see you, brother. Oreo Dave says, the Thunderbird looks so much better than the leafy drop blade they put out earlier. Oreo Dave is referencing the Vosti Nightshade, which I also am not a huge fan of. For those of you who have not seen the Nightshade, I'll put a picture up. Dave, did I get it right? Is this the one, man? That blade, look, I know that some people like this. I know, for example, that Tri-State EDC likes this knife. He thinks that the action is amazing. I haven't held one, so it's not fair for me to judge it. But if I was just going off of looks alone, I'd say that blade shape looks a little flaccid. Hey, we got Kelly O'Neill in the house. How's it going? Moose Duty says, it's based on the Schillen cutter and it's ugly as sin, but cuts like a Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, a knife's primary function is that it cuts, which is why I had this for less than a week before I said, screw it. It's time to do a reprofile on that edge, because I just can't. I cannot have a knife that doesn't cut well. It is insulting to me that knives are made that do not cut well. It's one thing if you don't carry it every day. You know what? Fine. Even if it's a safe queen, that's okay. I don't care if it's made out of a tin can, if the blade is made out of aluminum foil. It's not a knife if it doesn't cut. And so that is its primary function. It's the reason why this got reprofiled almost immediately. And some people are going to be like, well, why didn't you just get the drop point version? Well, because I have a thing for Tantos and I thought this looked cool. So there you have it. Hey, we got Top Dog in the house. Says, I'll just jump in here at the end. Hey man, you're not at the end of anything. We're still going strong. And yeah, for those who have joined in the last 5-10 minutes, we're doing a giveaway this time next week on next week's live stream. I'll be giving away 3 knives. I will be unveiling them during that live stream. We'll be doing them one at a time, and then there'll be 3 winners. You can win more than once. All you got to do is comment on the Road to 1,000 subscribers giveaway video that we did 2 weeks ago, and I will link to that during the live stream as well, when we do the giveaway. So Oreo Dave says, every knife I have is more than a tool. It has to cut and make me happy. Yes, absolutely. You know what? Sometimes the knife that I reach for when I need to cut something isn't always the knife that I usually carry. But every single knife in my collection cuts, and cuts, at least to some extent, well. As far as making sure that everything's a laser, no, it doesn't have to be. It just has to cut well. If it can do that, I'm happy. For example, every now and then I'll do an edge test. I'll pick a random knife in my collection that I haven't held in a long time, and I'll cut a piece of paper and see if the edge is consistent and if it slices nicely. And if it doesn't, onto the work sharp it goes. Here we've got, this is my my Demko, Demko. This is the Cold Steel 8015. I hadn't picked this thing up in about 2 months. I hadn't picked it up since the last time I did a video on it. I was like, did I sharpness test this? Did I edge test this? Because I'd completely forgotten that I'd done a donut cut test in which it cleaved straight through a nice Voodoo donut. Voodoo Donuts is such a good brand, by the way. So I tested it. Yeah, this is shaving sharp. Part of my leg is now completely bald, which I hear is not attractive in November. We've got Bluminati Ninja in the house. How's it going, man? Paul Mills says, if you screw the button all the way in on the Kizer Cormorant, it doesn't have as much travel and it feels much better. You see, I wasn't aware that you could screw in that button, because most of the buttons that I've seen are kind of a free-floating thing with a spring directly below them. And, yeah. Joshua Mostaller says, hey, Shambo, what's up, my guy? How's it going, Josh? It's good to see you, brother. But yeah, this is the Vosteed Nightshade. And I get it. Knife could be an amazing cutter. Aesthetically, it looks a little flaccid. Just my personal opinion. If you didn't know, we're on this quest right now to find this Tucson knife that I saw earlier, that I saw before the live stream, and I wanted to talk about it, and it disappeared. Now, I know that I have it pulled up here on my phone, so forgive me. I'm going to find that real quick. Aha. Got it. It is the Tucson TS 296. There we go. All right, my guys, check this out. $80 before any 10% content creator discount. Titanium 14C28N, plain edge. That is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. And here's the deal. It's only $79 right now because I'm guessing that this is a newer design and people haven't started seeing about it. It's only a matter of time before these get bought out, and then Tucson says, well, let's raise the price. You know, let's raise it up to $100 and then $125, then $200, because that's how it begins with Tucson. It always begins that way. They start off a lot more reasonably, and then they see how people like it, how they respond to it. I have a feeling that this right here, I love this design. I have a feeling it's going to be a pocket grater. This would probably tear the crap out of your pants, but I really, really like that style and that design. This is a Japanese Tanto style design, not unlike, get this out of my display, not unlike the Plexus. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Japanese style Tanto. Hey, Matt Russell in the house. How's it going, Matt? Colton's Automotive Tips says $79.99 for that. That is crazy. If it was at the $100 price point, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. At just shy of $80, call it just call it $70 with you could use the Love Them Knives discount code, get 10% off, save $8 right out of the gates. So we're talking $72, a whole lot of titanium, and 14 C28N. And is this milled out of a single piece of titanium? It doesn't look like it. Normally they'll mention if it is. Yeah, that's unfortunately not an integral, but that's okay. That's still a gorgeous looking knife. I'm not sure about this pocket clip. And the reason why I'm not sure about this pocket clip is because it lands on the lock bar. I'm okay with pocket clips when they act as an over travel stop and they're right there on that dividing line. But I've never actually seen one with the clip directly on the lock bar, which makes me think that the detent might be pretty hefty. Oreo Dave says, no hell given in here. We respect others' views. Absolutely. Listen, one of the things that I love about the knife community is that we all have so many opinions. And we can still come together and enjoy the same hobby in spite of our differences of opinions. Like, for example, I happen to think that there's a lot of knives out there that are just ugly as sin, but I respect everyone's right to actually like those knives and support those designers and manufacturers, because that's what makes everything go around. If we all only liked the same thing, or were only supposed to like the same thing, it would be really boring. We would have nothing to talk about. It'd just be like Chris Reeves knives drop today. No. I love looking at knives that other people really, really like and then trying to figure out why and compare that against my own opinion if I dislike it. Because, for example, with Spydercos, and gosh, Spydercos. So, funny story. Spyderco, when I first started getting into knives, I thought Spydercos were hideous, man. I thought they were absolutely criminally bad looking. And then, I got into it. I bought a few knives, bought some cheap knives. For example, if you haven't seen my grill or garbage review on this, I thought this knife looked cool. Bought it on Amazon. This is a garbage knife, by the way. And I started realizing all the different things that were wrong with this knife. And I finally picked up a Spyderco, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was the best thing ever. And I liked it so much that I was like, you know what? I like it. I want titanium handle scales, and there's no titanium Spydercos. And so I got custom scales, and I just went down this rabbit hole. And so this is my baby. This is my Para 3. Funny thing, a lot of people look at this and they actually think that it's a paramilitary 2, but it's not. It's a Para 3. And this is a really, really fun piece. Super, super fun piece to carry because you feel the weight in your pocket. The wave works nice. Anytime you need a knife, you don't even have to play around with it. Just catches the pocket, deploys, done. One hand closed, back in the pocket it goes. Like, if they told me tomorrow, you know what, you can only have one knife for the rest of your life, what model are you choosing? And if it breaks, it'll magically get replaced with another model. It'd be a Spyderco Para 3. This knife does it all for me. If I became boring and decided that I couldn't have any other knife ever for the rest of my life, and I could only ever replace it with the same model, it would be a Spyderco Para 3, hands down. All right. Looks like I lost the control of the chat real quick. Colton's Automotive Tips says, gonna leave before people in the chat give me help, man. No one's gonna give you hell, brother. You like what you like, and that's all that's important. Yeah, all are welcome in. That is 100% true. Colton Made said Stevie angry. Not sure I understand. All right, so Matt Russell says, I thought the same about Spyderco, then I bought a PM2 and now I think I carry it more than my Benchmades. So I haven't started getting into Benchmades yet. It seems like you get to that dividing line. You know, we were talking about Harry Potter and Avengers and Star Wars. You know, you like old Star Wars, new Star Wars, you know, the Harry Potter stuff. I'm sure you know Gryffindor, Slytherin, whatever. With knives, it's like Spyderco or Benchmade. And so I went with Spyderco because I'm here in Denver, Colorado. So down the street in Golden, Colorado is the Spyderco headquarters. Nothing beats that. I hear that sometimes their customer service can get a little snippy over the phone. Well, you know, it's kind of difficult to get snippy when I could just walk in the headquarters and be like, hey, I'm not a big fan of this. I've never had a reason to, though. All my Spyderco knives have been great experiences. And you know what kills me is that I put hundreds of dollars into modifying this Para 3 and this other one. Where did it go? There it goes. And this is the other one. This is actually the first Spyderco that I modified. This is my, oops, that was nearly bad. This is my Yojimbo 2. And it's got similar modifications on it. Engraved scales, matching hardware, 5x5 combat solutions, pickpocket, which acts as an Emerson wave. Wow, nothing wants to focus. There we go. And it's a beautiful knife. And I went to sell it to raise funds to get in on the Sparrow Strix pre-order. And Knife Swap, everyone was like, wow, that's a beautiful looking knife. Love that knife. Someone even said, I've never liked a Yojimbo until I saw this one. Nobody reached out to me to buy it. Blows me away. But that's okay. Because I'm not actually in a rush to sell this. But I would if it could get me something super limited like a Sparrow Strix. Because at the end of the day, I could always just get another Yojimbo 2 and modify it again. I probably wouldn't do this build again, mainly because I've already done it and that would feel like I was plagiarizing myself. But there's so much you can do when it comes to customizing a Spyderco that I don't think I'd have an issue coming up with a build that I liked as much. Papa Rhino says, I can't wait till the custom Strider .75 AR gets here. I haven't seen that. I gotta say, I love mine. This one has been dominating my pocket pretty solidly, and it's tough because when I carry this, I always end up having to carry something else because I've already had this for longer than 2 weeks, and I've already gone over different scoring for the Grail or Garbage leaderboard, and so I know kind of how I want to score it, but I haven't done my overview. And I haven't done the Grail or Garbage video, so I don't need to carry this. This is just a knife that I've really enjoyed carrying, and I like to carry, and it's a great conversation piece. And I just sometimes I just get lost in that mirror polished on that edge bevel because it just looks so good, and it cuts really good too. knocked my light over there. So got a quick cut test. This is awkward doing it like this, but that one was me. So I absolutely love it. Cuts really good. Leaves paper shavings absolutely everywhere. But it makes the beautiful sounds. It's shaving sharp. It looks good. And I don't know for the life of me why they don't put a better cutting edge on these knives. Like, hard use doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to cut with it. Like, I wanted a knife, not a pry bar. And that's something that I'm going to talk about when I do my ranking and overview for this knife. And I actually was initially, I was a little nervous about laying the bevel back, but Jared Neves Knives, I asked him in one of his live streams that I said, hey man, how far back should I lay that bevel? You know, should I do 25? 25 seems a little aggressive on this. And he said, you should do 15. 15. I didn't go that far. I only did 20. And the reason why I only did 20 is because I didn't know if he was referencing the drop point version of this or not. This being a Tonto means that it's got two different edges, and it's difficult to maintain that. I wanted to reprofile the edge, but I didn't want it to lose that Tanto. I don't like rolling over the second edge bevel, and so I kept the tip at 25, or rather I laid it down to 25, and then I did the flat at 20. More than enough. Cuts great. No regrets. Jared Neves knows what he's talking about. Papa Rhino says the S90V PM2 and OD Green micarta was on sale for $130. No. What? I bet that sold out. I'll tell you what. Moose Duty says the sales were sick this year. Yeah, you know what? It seems like the sales always hit at the wrong time for me financially. I always got to sell something, and then I do, and then the sale's over, or the knife sells out. Then I got to buy something else, and then something else pops up. It's just tough. Top Dog says, here's an unpopular opinion. I don't like paying hundreds of dollars for a knife and then more money modding it to what I really want. Hey, you know what? I get that, though. I totally get that. And here's the thing. I've only really seriously modified my Spydercos, and I didn't do it all at once. For example, on this one's probably about a $400 knife, all said and done, between the hardware and the backspacer. Well, backspacer is part of the hardware, but between the hardware, which is the backspacer, and the screws, that's titanium and powder coated, the pickpocket, and then the biggest thing is the scales. And something that you don't see is the end all price tag. It probably took me about 3 months to modify this, because I bought each part individually and then I considered the next part. And then when I was done, I knew I was done, because I looked at it and I said, there's nothing else I want to do to this. I don't want to change the clip. I don't want to try a different wave add-on. I like this one. I don't want to change anything. And that's how I knew it was a process for me. And it's not for everybody, because you take the knife apart, you replace the scales, you put it back together, and then the blade's not centered. But it was centered before, so you know it's got to be centered when you put it back together, so you tear it apart again. And it's, man, I'll tell you what, getting everything back to similar tolerances as before, with different scales, with different clips, you know, and then especially when you add on something like this 5x5 combat pickpocket, like that adds weight to the blade. The action won't be the same. Like, this is straight guillotine right now. Now it's running on phosphor bronze washers, so I can tighten the pivot and kind of get it back and, you know, add Loctite, but it'll never be the same. So when you modify a knife, it's more than just slapping the new stuff on there and calling it good. It's a journey. And even if you get everything on there to fit right, you could end up with a tolerances issue. Like let's say that you get the action right, but then there's blade play. And so then you tighten, the pivots, and then, you check, and then it's off center. It's modifying a knife and then keeping the tolerances the same is the toughest part of modifying a knife. And then the extra cost doesn't help either. I just happen to like it, but it's definitely not for everybody, and I wouldn't suggest it for everybody. Michael Sawyer says, my SRKs came sharp. Aaron B in the house. I got a Gen 2 MagnaCut Deca for $95. Now I can add some OG scales. I've been wanting a MagnaCut Deca. I've been kind of waiting to get one. And I'll tell you why. Because Hogue heard the knife community loud and clear. Hogue said, okay, we get it. You want your MagnaCut at like 64 HRC, super high up there to really, really get the most out of it. And so we'll start making them this way. But they had already put out so many MagnaCut Decas into the world that nobody knows if the one that they get is at the lower HRC that's much lower, like 60, 61, or is it the higher at like 64, 65? Like, which is it? And so I've been waiting. I'm just waiting for that supply, for the world's supply of, lower HRC Decas just run out a bit, because I want one with the higher Rockwell hardness. Michael Sawyer says, Little Native S45VN for $119, Sheep's Foot Grip for $104, S30 Shamans for $160-ish, MagnaCut Decas for $90, and I bought a blacked out ZT640 for $220. Something is wrong with me. My man, welcome to the club. There's no judgment. There's no judgment here. Hi, my name's Rollshambo. I have a problem. Oreo Dave says, Paul asked, how much for the Yojimbo? So, good question. This one, I put almost $400 into. Originally, it cost just shy of $200. This is the DLC coated blade stock. I have all the stock parts, the clip, the scales. And if someone buys this, I will make sure they get all the stock stuff as well. I put the things that I put on it were titanium clip, titanium handle scales, a blacked out titanium hardware. There's no backspacer on this one. I couldn't find a backspacer that didn't screw up the blade centering. And if you look at this one, you can tell that the blade centering is actually good. I tried a backspacer on this, and it absolutely screwed the blade centering, and I didn't want to compromise the tolerances, the factory tolerances, for a backspacer. I won't make that compromise. So it's still got the factory barrel spacers in here. This one I would sell for $250. And the reason why it's $250, even though stock you can get this for $200, is because I put about $400 into it. I made sure that the tolerances were good, and it's a good carry knife. This one is definitely good, nice and sharp. Never been reprofiled, has been stropped. So yeah, $250 on this guy is what I would be looking to sell it for. I actually listed it on Knife Swap. Plenty of people liked it. Nobody took me up on my offer, though. I might be asking too much. The market holds what the market holds, and people vote with their dollars, and I respect that. All right. So, Aaron B says, yeah, they list it now for 62 to 64. I think that's the Decas that I'm looking for. I just want to make sure, because we know how retailers can get. With the whole Jake Hoback thing where he said, I tried to tell people that these knives were made in China, but the retailers never updated their websites. I don't know how true or accurate that is, but I do know that retailers make a lot of mistakes, and they may have heard that that HRC is going up, and just assumed that the ones that they got have that, because very, very few boxes will actually list a knife model's HRC range. And so I don't know if I can trust that. I've seen so many mistakes on retailers' websites that I cannot trust it. So I wait. Gone Orion in the house says, howdy everybody. How's it going, man? Josh says, it's great. It's great now though. Perfect mini bug out. I may have missed the previous one. Let me see. It can be frustrating. I learned that with a mini bug out, it never opened until I'm not reading this right. I learned that with a mini bug out, it never opened it until I had all the aftermarket parts, scales, screws floating around backspacer. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You said, I'm not carrying this. I know immediately that I'm going to modify this. So what's the point? I want it to be as close to factory as possible when I put these modifications on there. That's actually pretty smart. For me, I've got a child's brain. I have a box. I can't not open it and then immediately play with what's inside. I'm really bad at that. I had this, for example, on this guy, I had the box in my room during work. One of the reasons why I'm bad at unboxings is because I have a hard time waiting to open something up. I got to open it. It's a package. It's got my name on it. I'm going to open it. Oreo Dave says, try NAFSale. Lots of EDC folks on there, just not knife nuts. I actually created a NAFSale account. I haven't listed anything yet, though. Not yet. I'm looking at it. Mike Reese says, that's why so many reviewers do their own measurements. Yeah, I get that. At first, I always thought, like, hey, why don't they just post what's on the sites? But usually the measurements, with most measurements, most of them are pretty spot on. There's a few times where I'll look at it and I can eyeball it within, a decent amount, and I'll say, yeah, that's an accurate measurement. What's always different, and the measurement that I think absolutely should be done on video, is the weight. I have seen so many variants in weights where the website lists it as like 4.3 ounces, and then you weigh it and it's 4.6. Those are the kind of variances you're going to see when something is mass produced, because it doesn't always get machined to the exact same tolerances as a knife produced by the same machine, 100 units ago. So that's where I think the biggest differences are going to lie, and where the most opportunity to get the weight correct lies. And so whenever I watch a video on a knife that I'm interested in from another creator, and they're like, yeah, this one weighs in about this, I'm like, well, give or take 0.2 or 3 ounces. That's kind of the range that it's going to be in. I never expect it to be the same weight. I've weighed knives that have been reviewed by other channels and gotten different weights than they got. So while it's a measurement that is actually important to do yourself, it's also one that is kind of like, is it really necessary? Because if it's going to be different for each person, I just don't know. I don't know. B for Baron says, don't forget the thumbs up, guys. Thank you. Yes. If you thumbs up the video, it definitely helps out the channel. Earlier, Oreo Dave said, what can we do to support the channel? Hit the thumbs up button, comment, show up on live streams, keep me motivated, because if it wasn't for the audience, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be making videos, and I really appreciate that. So for me, I get endless amounts of fun on creating content, talking with everybody, creating a small community. What I'm curious of is if anyone has one of these Beyond EDC River Wolves. Does anyone have one of these? If you have one, shout it out in the chat. I want to know your opinion, because I'm still developing mine. Hey, looks like we got Canuck in the house. Ghana Rice says, I never paid attention to Tucson. Then today I saw a highly polished flipper online and was beside myself watching the reel. I'm telling you, man, there's something about a good Tucson, okay? This is one that I definitely want to check out. I love the blade shape. I love the materials for that price tag. I already read this review, so I kind of have an idea of what that person said, but it's only one person. I feel like I want to check this knife out. We'll have to see. The nice thing about that is that it's got great materials and it's something that's readily available. This is another one that I was actually checking out as well. This is the button lock, the TS398. This one's been around for a hot minute, and Love Them Knives said some really great things about this one. This one seems like a chonky boy. Just eyeballing that, I'm going to say, what is that? Like 4.5, 5 ounces? 4.9. Yeah, it was close. 4.9 ounces. It is thick. 8-inch knife, 4.5-inch handle, 3 1/4 on the blade. I like that. Is that considered a trailing point or a drop point? I'm not sure. Let's head on over to DLT, see what they got going on. I always like checking their drops. They still have the Tan G10 and 20 CV pair of 3s. They still have the TAK and the joiner die Harsey folders. I checked these out. This is one that I was seriously considering. I absolutely love that. They do some really cool designs on the Spartan Harseys. The Plague Doctor looks phenomenal. The only thing I can't get over is the only way to deploy it is the thumb stud. And thumb stud is probably my least favorite method of deployment for a pocket knife. Josh says, does the site say the weight of that Tucson? Yep, it definitely did. Michael Sawyer says, Beyond just dropped an integral by Dylan Mallory, the Ray. Cool terraced opening slot. Let's check it out. Why not? Beyond EDC Ray. I might have to actually look at their website. I don't know why I thought they did the spelling of Beyond weird. Here we go. Limited edition, $320, but you save $10 with 3% off. Hey, not bad. The pinnacle of Dylan's design and philosophy, the Ray lives up to its name, fusing his unique design style with exceptional selection of technology and material to stand at the peak. Inspired by the silhouette of the Emperor Scorpion, featuring an integral handle carved out of a single block of titanium, that's what integral means, hair-splitting M390 with a full-size thumb hole for fast opening, carbon fiber inlay on the handle, yada yada. 3.15-inch blade, 4-inch handle, frame lock, titanium milled clip with integrated lanyard hold, tip up right. Okay. Let's see. Why won't they let me blow this picture up? That looks good. So right away, I love this stepped. I love the step to this this cutout. That looks really, really good for deployment. I wonder why it doesn't look like that on this side. Maybe it's only stepped on one side. Maybe it's just the angle, but that looks fantastic. $320. And it's a limited edition. Gosh, that looks good. Gosh, that looks good. Hey, I was right. They do spell it weird. There we go. Oof. See, this is what happens. I start looking at knives and then I start doing the math in my head. Like, what can I move around to make this happen? Because that looks phenomenal. The first thing I'm going to do is actually just reach out to them and see if they have one that I can borrow for a review. Or that they'd be willing to lend to the Apex Pass Around group, because I know those guys would probably like to check it out as well. Nice carbon fiber inlay. Pivot the way that I like it. Deployment slot the way that I like it. The blade shape looks good. I'm wondering what their heat treat is on this. Why don't they list the heat treat? Gosh, that's frustrating. I'm willing to bet that's probably around 60 to 61 HRC, which is definitely good enough. And I also don't know why some of them don't show that stepping to the deployment hole. It makes me wonder if that's an extra option or if it's just the angle that we can't see that at. I'm really curious to find out. Got to catch up on the chat. Papa Rhino says Tucson TS227. Let's find it. Tucson TS227. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I love that blade. I love that blade shape. And I'll tell you why, because right here, right above that fuller is a great spot to rest your thumb. Now, conversely, whenever you have a good spot to rest your thumb on the spine of the blade, it makes me wonder, where do you rest your index finger? Because that is not a finger cutout. Pocket clip definitely looks good. For a stamp clip, yeah, I like that. I like the chamfering done here. I like the back spacer. It's all micarta. This one was $40. Brown linen micarta D2. Not bad. $40. Yeah, that would definitely be one worth checking out. Moose Duty says, love them knives, reviewed the Dark Horse and a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive. Has anyone got one? Opinions. I don't have one. Fred Ashen says, unboxing is overrated. So I watch a lot of unboxing videos because those are the ones that pop up on my feed, probably because I watch them. When I do watch them, I always skip the slider all the way until after they've already gotten through the box and they're opening up the pouch. That's the point at which I start watching. I don't know if everyone else does that, but that's what I do. I was like, I don't care about watching you cut open this box. I do that every week. I cut open boxes. I don't need to see that. Yeah. Joshua says, fire that Harsey is magnificent. Man, I'm telling you. I almost pulled the trigger on this guy. It was very, very, very close. But I always wanted a Strider, and I definitely wanted a Strider AR for the longest time. And I had missed out on last year's drop. So this one was amazing. I have no regrets. But there's always another knife. There's always something else that I want. That never stops. Josh says, the Mallory is my favorite designer. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't looked at a whole lot of Dylan Mallory's stuff, to be honest with you. I've seen a few knives, and I've liked what I've seen so far. That's a really good looking knife. That looks like a knife that transitions really well from being something you can put in your display case and then take it and use it. And I love that. That's one of the things that I really look for in a knife is, does it look good in the display case? And when I need a knife, can I pull it out and it's a knife that I can use? I think that design looks fantastic. Michael Sawyer says his original Forest was pretty cool. For some reason, his knives have been slept on. All his Instapics shoe the slot. Okay. Double D says Civivi Appalachian Drifter 2 on Atlantic Knife has a nice blade shape and price. I like the Appalachian Drifter. I've actually looked it up before. We'll just pop up Blade HQ Sense. It's the first one that popped up. Blade HQ has it on sale. On sale. Like, just because you didn't sell it for MSRP doesn't mean that it's on sale. I'm willing to bet that this is at the very least a regular price for this knife, but the Appalachian Drifter slip joint, dark green micarta, just shy of 3-inch blade. Decent, what is that considered, a clip point? Not a huge fan of that pocket clip, but I see how it could potentially work. And I like the fact that it's a slip joint that does go in the pocket. A lot of slip joint knives don't have pocket clips, and I'm a big pocket clip guy. Atlantic. Now let's see what they're going for on Atlantic Knife. That's a sale price. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm talking about. So Blade HQ had this on sale for like 80, 81, 82 bucks. And this is what this is actually looking like on sale. $69. Fantastic. Green micarta. Say it with me. That's not green. Can we stop calling green micarta green? Like it's okay. It's okay. It just bothers me. Stonewash finish CPM S35 VN, $70. Jeez. That's a great value. I'm not a huge slip joint guy. I see their merit. I know that some people can only legally have slip joints, so I respect that. Living in the great state of Colorado, I'm not limited to that, so I'm A-okay with a slip joint. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I like that design. I like the materials, and I really like that price. That price is fantastic. If you're into slip joints and you like this design, here you go. AtlanticKnife.com. They've got the Appalachian Drifter on sale for $70. Oh, wow. I lost control of that chat real quick. Matt Russell says, I just got the Dark Horse. It's sweet. Action is super smooth. Feels great. $30 for a 4.5-inch 14C28N blade is hard to beat. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what model is being discussed. Who makes the Dark Horse? Educate me. I don't know everything. Educate me. I want to check this out. $30, 14C28N. You've caught my attention. What knife are we looking at here? Bluminati Ninja said, I like the small Archaeo is sweet. Michael Sawyer says, got some dessert coming my way. The Desert Warrior, the donut knife. If there was ever a knife to do a donut cut test with, it would have to be a Desert Warrior. I think they're entertaining. I could never spend my money on them, but I do think that they're entertaining. I'm officially interested in this knife. For $40, the Tucson TS227. That'll have to go on my list. What else they got? This one looks pretty neat. Those handle scales are wild. Nice deep Tonto. It makes me think that maybe the cutting edge on this one is not going to be the greatest though. Pocket clip is more centered on this one. All right. I'm not sure how I feel about that clip. They should have just cut it off right here. I mean, I'm okay with the stamp clip, but it's got to be a ski jump, not a ramp and then a plateau. That's going to not be great for ergonomics or for fitting in the pocket. But I like the shape of this. I think that it might be a little chonky as a cutter. As a conversation piece though, 80 bucks, D2. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Oreo Dave says, not a fan of slip joints, but I'm interested in the Isham Bladeworks Black Star because it's a flipper like the Kiwi. Yes. Oh man, the Black Star. Gosh, this is a knife that I've wanted. I cannot find one though. Isham Black Star. Currently unavailable. This is what Oreo Dave is talking about. This is the and this is where Elijah Isham really was just clever with the way that he did his deployment methods. So you see this jimping right here, like that's a flipper. It doesn't look like it. It's just a, the squared off piece of the blade tang, but that is a fully dedicated flipper, and it does not get in the way. It does not get in the way of the ergonomics at all, or fitting in the pocket well. Jeez. Gosh. All right, everybody. So we're winding down. I typically like to keep these short. I know you all have lives you want to get back to. So I'm going to cap it off by reminding everyone, please log in to the live stream 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time this coming Wednesday, a week from today. We will be doing a giveaway. I'll be giving away 3 knives that will be announced in the giveaway. The way that you enter will be to click on the original Road to 1,000 subscribers live stream that's in my channel. Comment on it. You don't have to subscribe. If you want to subscribe, that's fantastic. I think that if you like my content, you like me, and you want to see more content just like it, go ahead and subscribe. But you don't have to if you don't want to. All you have to do is comment. 1 comment is fine. And we will be drawing 3 winners. It'll be around about an hour long or so. So we'll do more than just the giveaway. We'll also have some fun like we normally do on our live streams. Other than that, guys, thank you all for joining me today. I'm going to read a few more comments and then we'll call it. Double D says the Appy 2 is a front flipper. Great update from the original. Good to know. Michael Sawyer says Beyond EDC Night Horse Dirk Pinkerton design. Here I was about to log off. Now we gotta go back to this because I gotta see this. I got to see this. Beyond EDC knives. Where is it? Where is it? I'm not seeing it. All right, so let's try this. Beyond EDC. Is it the Night Horse? Night Horse, Dirk Pinkerton. Okay, Night Horse. Can we find it? Well, that's an inversion prototype. Crazy. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I like that design. I like the fact that they could have gone with a Tonto on this and decided not to. The uninterrupted cutting edge is really, really, really good for continued cutting. The beautiful thing about a Tonto edge is that you have a thicker point. So if you do anything that requires deep plunging of the blade into material, Tonto is really good for that. But for continuous cutting, this uninterrupted edge is perfect. Moose Duty says, good night, everybody. A senator. Hi, good night, everybody. A senator somewhere. But yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and call it for the evening. Thank you again so much for being a part of the community, for joining in on the live stream, for making this super entertaining and rewarding for me, for giving me an excuse to talk about knives with all of you. I'm excited. We're at 1,000 subscribers, and this is just the beginning. So cheers to a first major milestone down. It's just going to be one of many. Other than that, my friends, I'm Rollshambo. I'll catch you next week. Same time, same bat channel. There we go. Have a good night, everybody.